Hello, and this is Thomas the Small Engine. I am back this week with another custom showcase, this time of a character that was in the TV series. In a way. This is the Marklin Engine. He doesn't have a name, but you could just call him Marklin, as I do. For those who don't know who the Marklin Engine is, in the first season of Thomas the Tank Engine, sometimes they didn't have enough engines when a train needed to be pulled in the background. So they just used a spare model train they had. He's never outright seen in an episode, but if you look closely you can see hints of him in Thomas's Train, Tenders and Turntables, Trouble in the Shed, The Flying Kipper, and Off the Rails. After that, they didn't need him in Season 2, so they cut him up. Sad. He's an obscure topic in the show's history, but a fascinating subject. One has to wonder, why doesn't he have a face? And if this means he isn't alive, though City of Truro in Season 3 didn't have a face either, and he was an alive character. So, if we count Marklin's appearances as canon, that he is a character, one has to wonder, what is his backstory? Interesting thing about him is that he's a German engine. And why was he scrapped? Well, whatever the answers to those questions may be, here's my custom of him. So in deciding to make this custom, I decided to use Rosie. This was a Mattel-era Rosie that I decided to paint over, and I picked Rosie because I realized her design is a really good match for Marklin. It's the same wheel configuration, roughly the same shape, though the side tanks didn't exactly match. The three domes, or whatever these are on Marklin match, and even this box up here matches. It seemed a pretty perfect fit, so that's what I went with. And I didn't really kill a Rosie in the process. This one is actually it was built from the same Rosie that I took the Melody face from. You see Melody right there. Melody was in my E2 video a couple years back, and since there was just a spare Rosie that you also saw in that video lying around, I decided to put it to some good use. Since it was a perfect match for Rosie, I thought, well, let's repaint it. Though there were a couple things about it that didn't quite match. For instance, the smoke box that was on Rosie didn't quite match with whatever these are. I'm guessing splashers? And that wasn't something that the Marklin engine has. So I decided to get a replacement smoke box. This smoke box here is from a Percy model, a Hit Entertainment era Percy. Cutting off the smoke box from Rosie was hard work, and in addition, before I repainted the model, I decided to take the wheels off so that I wouldn't have to tape around them. That way I could just put it back on later. And in hindsight, I wish I didn't do that because that kind of hurt my arm. But it all came back together nicely. The smoke box that I stole from the Percy, like the Rosie smoke box, also had a screw in it, but that one was so hard to get out that I ended up having to cut through that Percy vigorously to finally get it out. And if you want to see what's left of Percy, here you go. Yeah. That's the same Percy that I used for the E2s as well to make Rheneas. And since I just had that Percy lying around, I used the smoke box, but I had to cut up so much of the boiler for that. And you can see there's almost none of it left. And apparently this is what Learning Curve used to make their models stick together. That's interesting. But once I picked out the right smoke box and everything, I just had the Rosie model without a smoke box and without a chassis, and I decided to paint it black. And I painted it using a glossy black spray paint. I don't know if it transfers well on the camera, but in real life this is really shiny. Like really shiny. It's almost reflective. So, I was very happy with the way that turned out. The red wheels, of course, match with the Marklin engine, and I have done a bit of side detailing to try and match Marklin as well. I gave him a red buffer beam in the front, and a couple of red stripings on the back. In addition, I put DB, which is something that is on the actual Marklin model. I wrote it on the other side. It didn't turn out as good, I think, but oh well, what do you do? And something else that I used from this Percy was, since I cut up so much of the model, I thought, well, at this point it's just spare wood. And the front of a smoke box would just look something like this. And I thought that wouldn't look very good. I know Marklin doesn't have a face, but it's better to put something there. So the best thing I could think of was to saw off a little more of Percy's boiler and cut it down to the correct shape and spray paint that black and paste it on top of Marklin's face. And that's what I did. That one you can also see has his numbers painted. I painted it 8031. And I wish I had written it a little smaller because his number is actually 80-031. But what do you do? Another thing about it is, since I was dealing with such small wood when I was sawing it apart, part of it broke off, which, as you can see, the wood doesn't go all the way down, and that looks a little silly, but I just decided, well, I guess if I just put it on there, it covers most of his face. So, I don't think it looks the best, but I think it looks good for now. Sometime in the future, I'll probably go and fix that and put something else there, maybe another strip of wood, or maybe I'll find some plastic or something. But for now, I am very happy with how this engine turned out. The Jenny Lind was made a couple years ago, but making a new custom today, it's very satisfying. It's just cool to see I have Marklin now. And it turned out pretty good. I like how shiny this turned out. I like how much of a shape match it is for him. I'm still very happy to have built this character and to show you all on YouTube this custom. As you might guess, this is another engine that will indeed be appearing in my upcoming series. If you're wondering when is that coming out, well, as soon as I get something better than just a couple of pieces of cardboard for my scenery. But until then, thank you all for watching. Oh hey Stephanie, thanks for reminding me to get the review done on time, even though it is late.
Sure thing. By the way, how is the Marklin engine alive if he doesn't have a face?
All Sudrian engines are alive. It's just how it works. You're just a toy and you can speak to me. Wait, then how come the rest of my collection isn't alive?